So thank you guys so much for coming. I love Atlanta. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, so I'm just waiting for Daryl, basically. He's coming, I know it. He's not just gonna leave me here. Let's see, today I'm gonna be making something, maybe two words that you never want to hear together, but dinner salad. It's okay to have salad for dinner once in a while. This one is really super filling. It's quinoa Caesar salad with tempeh croutons. And so that's like a ton of protein, lots of creaminess from the dressing, super filling from the quinoa and the tempeh, and then you get your greens in too, so it's win-win-win. I was going to talk a lot about knife skills today. Unfortunately, this is the knife I was given. So I'm not going to be talking about that. So I have not as much to talk about as I wanted to. So you're going to have to help me and do some Q&A. So in the front of the book, which you all have, because you all just bought like 10 copies, there's a tempeh and tofu butchery section. Just kind of trying to, for a long time, vegans just lived in this world of cubes only, and I wanted to broaden it, and maybe we can eat triangles too. I'm going to start by butchering the tempeh. I'm going to butcher it into cubes. I don't know if you guys do this at home. When you get a tempeh, it always comes in plastic. I always just cut it in half right into plastic. Do you guys do that? I find that it's a lot easier than spending half an hour trying to get it out neatly. So that actually is what a steak knife is for. I call them tempeh openers. So I'm happy that I have one here today. So when I'm cutting things into halves, into cubes, I like to make them pretty even. So the easiest way to butcher your tempeh is to first cut the tempeh into halves, and then into other halves. You can't see what I'm doing, so I could be doing anything. I could be doing origami. And then just keep cutting halves until you have squares with your steak knife, which is the proper tool for everything. So what I'm going to do is, tempeh is one of those things that people think they don't like until they have the right tempeh recipe. It can be a little bit bitter before you cook it. So what you really need to do is, you need to I keep thinking of improper words that I shouldn't say in front of children. You need to marinate the heck out of the tempeh. So also what you can do is steam it beforehand, and when you steam tempeh, it gets all ready to soak up a lot more marinade. So I'm going to use tamari. Tamari is really great because it's gluten-free, as long as it says gluten-free tamari, and then your gluten-free friends won't yell at you or complain on your blog. So that's really nice. So the tamari is great. I use a lot. I use a quarter cup because we really want to permeate the tempeh with flavor. It doesn't have that much flavor on its own. Then we want a little bit of acid. You always want something acidic in a marinade, or it just doesn't get into what you're marinating as well. I think about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use red wine vinegar. You can use balsamic. You can use lemon juice. It's all good. And a little liquid smoke, which is, it's like smoke that's been evaporated. I don't know. It's fine. It tastes smoky and it's great. This one it comes in all different flavors. To be honest, I never really noticed the difference, but it's like mesquite, hickory, whatever. It's all good. So, and then I'm going to use a little bit of thyme, because I put thyme in everything. And if I don't use thyme in it, you won't know that it was my recipe. I always crumble it between my fingers to get a little bit more flavor out of it. So that's the marinade. Let's pretend I steamed the tempeh, but even if I didn't, it's fine. Just plop the tempeh right in there. Plop is the technical term. Make sure you get it all covered. So if I'm cooking on a weeknight, this is the kind of thing I'll do maybe the night before, maybe in the morning, because obviously the marinating time doesn't, it's hands off. I don't have to be home for 8 hours watching it marinate. You know what they say about watching tempeh marinate? Nothing. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to start on something else. What shall I do? I'll do the dressing. So, vegan Caesar dressing. I have a gazillion recipes for vegan Caesar. I'm sure you know all of them. This one is a little bit more fancy than I usually do, because I usually do tahini, mustard, you have to have garlic, a little nutritional yeast. This one is a little bit of a more authentic, I think, tasting Caesar. I use cashews. So cashews are basically, this is a vegan cow. They are a really great substitute for, not even substitute, half and half is a great substitute for cashews. So there's this whole like raw thing. It's basically a scam. You don't need them to say raw. They just have to not be unroasted. All cashews have been cooked to some degree because they're cooked when you open them, because if they're not, they're toxic. So don't worry about those $26 half a cup raw cashews. Buy anything that doesn't say roasted, and you're good. And it even, because lots of people are like, how do you put cashews in everything? That dressing is $45. No, it's $2. Also, if you go to like a bulk bin, you'll see something called cashew pieces, which is just cashew halves that have been a little broken. For some reason, they're half the price of whole cashews. So I always pick those up. Typically, when I make this, I don't have a Vitamix because I feel that puts me out of touch with the people. But, thank you. So typically when I make this, when I make cashew-based dressings or sauces, I soak them. So soak them for about 2 hours. If you forget to soak them, boil them for 15 minutes, and you're good to go. They get soft, and then when they blend, they turn into cream. It's pretty awesome. The next ingredient is going to be, capers, which are really delicious, briny. They're actually a flower bud, so that's kind of beautiful. I use some of the brine, and one characteristic of Caesar dressing is the brininess, like sea-like taste, and the capers are going to get you there. It's pretty great. So then I'm going to use some roasted garlic. I'm going to use roasted, and I'm going to use raw garlic because I just like all those layers of garlicky flavor. Roasted garlic, thank you Adrian for roasting this for me, is really easy. It sounds like maybe a complicated ingredient, but whenever I'm baking something, I sneak other things into the oven so that I have them for later. So roasted garlic is one of those things that I sneak in. You just wrap it in tin foil, pop it in maybe for half an hour, and then you have roasted garlic, and everybody's happy. You can put it in your smoothie. Don't put it in your smoothie. Just throw it in salads, throw it in your pasta sauce. I always sneak in jalapenos, I sneak in potatoes, just whatever I can get going in the oven, and I feel like I won a prize because it didn't take me any effort. So some roasted garlic, and then I'm going to put some raw garlic, 2 cloves or so. Maybe I'll do 1.5 just in case these are really strong. They are strong? They seem strong to me. I can look at, when you get to this level of vegan, you can look at garlic and feel the strength. So look, that's something to look forward to. Next is fairy dust, nutritional yeast. And that is just going to give a little bit more umami, depth of flavor, and it also adds some creaminess. And if there's no nooch in it, it's not vegan, so some salt, of course. Is Annie here?
Later.
Oh, okay. Oh, she didn't come to see my demo?
I don't know.
Whatever, that's cool. I won't forget. I was just going to make a joke because but she's not here, so it's going to sound like an insult. But she's not here, so that's an insult, so I can kind of make the joke. Okay, so put some salt in, some pepper, some lemon. I'm going to show you a little lemon trick, since I have this lemon here. So this is lemon butchery. If you chop off the top of the lemon, and then the sides, all of the seeds are in the core. So if you chop around the core, you can basically squeeze right into the, well, I got some in there, but that's because all of you people are staring at me. You can basically just squeeze in and not worry about the seeds. If you ever get a seed into your dressing, it is 100% worth it to dig it out. Otherwise, it's going to make everything bitter. I just, tell my mom that all the time. I always know that she didn't take the time to get the lemon seed out. It's like one little lemon seed ruins everything. So yeah, you can just squeeze in, or you can just get a strainer and squeeze into the strainer. You don't have to be a lemon butcher like I am. I think that's all my ingredients, but I'm not positive. But I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this and then
Mute her while she's running the Vitamix, or we'll all lose our hearing.
Yeah. What should we do while this is running? Should we coordinate a dance?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna make up a dance. Okay, I'm going. It's not really that loud. I want to do a Gallagher thing and get stuff all over you guys. Do you have plastic? Have a vegan watermelon? A vegan watermelon? Taste this. I don't have a Vitamix, but whenever I use one, I'm like, I wish I had one. I wouldn't have to soak anything ever. I'm gonna taste this, but don't worry, I'm doing it totally sanitarily. I won't put it back in there. Ooh, oh, no, it's good. It's actually pretty much perfect. How do I do it? I'm gonna thin it a tiny, tiny bit. Oh, no, I can't. Do you have another bottle of water? Volunteers. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we've got the dressing going. Totally easy. One thing I really love to do is on a Saturday or Sunday, I just throughout the day kind of make a couple of dressings and keep them in the fridge. Then you have them, you know, all week. I just steam some kale, make some brown rice, maybe even buy baked tofu or bake some tofu, and then you have dinner, a different dinner every night because you have a different sauce. Do you guys have a magic bullet? I don't work for Magic Bullet, the food processor, not the other thing. Because those are like, sorry. Those are, you get all these different containers. They're so fun, and they're like $30, and they're on infomercials, and so that means I love them. And then they're like for making margaritas, except they have all these different margarita cups, so I just like make 4 dressings. You put them, and then right in the container you make them, you just shove them in the fridge, and then tell them I sent you when you get one. So you understand what I'm saying. And then you can have a lot of sauces in the fridge. Long story short. So I'm gonna move on to making some tempeh, I guess. And usually marinated for a little bit longer. There's really nothing to this. I'm just going to saute it in oil. And I like to use olive oil for it. You can water saute it if that's really a thing, which it's not. No offense. Okay, so you know how, I don't know, do you guys watch Paula Deen? I know, like, she takes her rings off and puts them in something. I always take mine off and I have a tiny bottle of truffle oil, but my rings are like $10 and hers are like $10,000. But I don't have a little bottle of truffle oil, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put these tempehs in here. Normally it would sizzle. It's not. But when you do saute things, you want to hear them sizzle the second they hit the pan. Otherwise, they're not going to brown nicely, and they're potentially going to stick to the pan. I really like to use cast iron. Do you guys have cast iron? Totally worth it. Like $30 for a cast iron pan, and it'll last you forever. And there's a lot of like fear in the world about cast iron, just like, am I going to season it right? And, you know, like the truth is, even if you mess it up, even if it gets a little rusty, it's so easy to fix. You just pop it back in the oven with some oil on it, and the rust will go away. And even people like say not to use soap on them. I use soap on my cast iron. So as long as you're dealing with it gently. I mean, I have cats. I feel like I have to wash things really well. And obviously all vegans have cats. So I'm just gonna let these saute a bit. I like the taste of tempeh, even though it's a little bit bitter, but I know some people it just takes them so long to get used to it. But I find with things like tempeh and tofu, there's just a lot of like people trying to make it sound not delicious. Like if someone wants to make tofu not sound good, they say tofu instead of tofu, or they go tofu. So we need to start, pronouncing it in a nicer way. I don't know what that way is, just not that way. All right, so these are gonna saute. I wait for them to get nice and brown, and then I call them tempeh croutons instead of cubes because people get tired of cubes. The next thing I'm gonna do is just toss together the, usually, do you guys have a gigantic bowl? Like you need a bowl twice this size in your life. No bowl is too big for tossing dinner salads. So I'm gonna I have some greens in here. Oh, there's the quinoa. The quinoa says Isa on it. Make sure your quinoa says Isa on it. I use a lot of quinoa in this. It's just, I love it. It's really adds crunch and texture and deliciousness to everything. I'm just gonna dump it right in. Just like that. It's quinoa tartare. What's that? Yeah, we need a gigantic bowl. Thanks, VegFest. Just because we're actually sampling these, I'm going to use gloves to toss it. I use my hands for this, as should you. Just keep them clean, and it's just that your hands are their best kitchen utensil there is. Because if I was using spatulas or whatever, it'd be like, yeah, it'd take forever. So you use your hands in 2 seconds. Just mush it all up in your gigantic bowl. Just imagine with me that this is the biggest bowl in the world. But this is a good reason why you should go out and get a big bowl today. Watching me try and do this. So, yeah. And then you can save the marinade also. You don't need to toss it. Save it, marinate some tofu in it, marinate some vegetables. Soon it'll turn into kombucha. No, don't do that. So when I started this book, I had just moved to Omaha, actually, and I was just realizing what most of the country has access to, just being right in the middle of the country. We do have a Whole Foods there, and the health markets in the chain groceries are getting a little bit better, but like when I was living in Brooklyn, the tempeh is getting nice and brown. When I was living in Brooklyn, we had rose water on the corner bodega and all sorts of ingredients that the rest of the world doesn't have. So you can kind of tell the difference between my Brooklyn books and other books. And then when I'm living in Portland, everything's like hazelnuts and marionberries and soy pearls. So, Omaha, I just tried to make really pantry-friendly cookbook. So hopefully Issa Does It is achieving that. And another thing was I was cooking at home a lot more. Even though I cook a lot, I'm cooking even more now just because there's fewer places to eat. I mean, I am opening a restaurant there, but you guys should come visit. I actually got the keys to the restaurant 2 days before I left. I'm on a book tour right now. I know it doesn't seem it because I'm so calm and collected, but I'm on a crazy book tour and I'm going to 10 different cities and to both coasts. This is the furthest south I'm coming now. And what was I saying? Oh, I got the keys to the restaurant 2 days before I left, and I got a kitten 2 weeks before I left. I know, she's so cute. Mazzy, follow me on Instagram. She's so cute. I was gonna tell you how she sounds, but you can imagine, she's a kid. Oh, do you have family in Omaha? Where are they?
They're at 1 Pacific.
Okay. Okay, cool. I know exactly where that is. That's where Trader Joe's is. That's how I gauge things. Sur La Table and Trader Joe's. Gotcha. Cool. It's called Modern Love, which is the first time I'm announcing it. The name, actually. Thanks, guys. Because when you tell somebody the name, everyone has a problem. So I'm just I don't care. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to say anything. Because, I don't know. I like the name, so I think... so I got the keys to it, so right now I'm just kind of freaking out that all stuff is going on while I'm not there, but I'm excited to get home and get started with that. So what was I doing? Oh, I was putting together this wonderful salad. I love to put arugula in my salads. It just adds another little depth. I grow arugula at home. Arugula, that's how it's pronounced. I grow arugula at home. That's another reason I didn't want to leave Omaha, because my arugula was gorgeous. And I know that it'll be gone when I get home. So, but I have to put it in, or it's not an easy recipe. I just love it in my Caesar salads. I throw it, honestly, it's not in all my recipes, but at home, I do put it in every single salad recipe. And now I'm just gonna toss the dressing right in.
Did you want to thin it with the water that we got?
Oh, did you get water?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 bottles right there.
That's service. I'm gonna thin it a little bit to dressing consistency. Yeah, like dressing is so forgiving. So don't be, keep tasting it. See, you want it to be a little bit saltier than you might think, because it's going to be going with all these other ingredients. So when you taste it, you should be like, that's a little too salty. That means it's perfect. Okay, that looks great to me. I still like to keep the dressing really, really thick. I don't know. Caesar salad is one of those things, like, just needs a ton of flavor, like a ton of lemon, a ton of brininess, and a ton of creaminess. And I love just thinking of things as vegan translations. So it's not about, like, trying to create an exact replica, but it's, the reason these foods, become classics is because they take the flavor profile. So vegan translations, just think about what makes a Caesar salad, what makes the dressing. And it's those things, the briny, the lemon, little taste of the sea, the creaminess, and then think what vegan ingredient is gonna bring those flavors out, because there always is one. And I try to make the answer not be, well, Vegenaise and Dea. No offense if they're sponsors. I love those, I like ingredients like that, but I try and make it things that non-vegans will have in their pantry anyway, so then there's really no excuse not to make this. And I find that in my life, just people are more receptive to whole food ingredients rather than like, analogs. So that's my philosophy. Vegan translations. Okay, so this should be, I think it's pretty well distributed. I don't know, what do you guys? I'm making a mess. I always make a huge mess also. Like when bloggers have a step-by-step of their food, I'm just pretty amazed, because if I did that, it would just be, nobody would make the food. It'd be like, how did she get so much tempeh on the floor? Why is her cat licking the dressing? I don't want to make this. So I'm gonna use my hands instead of a spatula. You guys do that, right? It's real. Yeah, so I'm gonna toss this. I hope it tastes good, because I'm not gonna taste it, I'm just gonna give it to you guys. Don't do that though, you always taste your food first. You watch Top Chef, right? And Tom Colicchio's like, how do you not taste it? That's my Tom Colicchio impression. Was it good? Did you guys really watch Top Chef? Because that was spot on, and I'm not feeling that you really appreciate it. How do you not taste it? I'll keep working on it. I have a Bobby Flay impression. You want to see it? Well, it's not an impression of him. It's an impression of his assistant that's always with him. And they always go, pineapples on the grill? I don't know, Bobby. And then he's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. That was by Joe Pesci. Thank you. So I think that's good. The next thing I'm gonna do is, with my perfectly clean hands, I was gonna show you how to chop an avocado, but I can't. Thanks, VegFest. Let me check out on these tempehs also. No, VegFest is awesome. This has been a great event. They put me up in a gorgeous hotel, and other nice things. They picked me up at the airport, massaged me, got me a pumpkin latte today. They didn't massage me. Yet. Don't put your gloves in the salad. What is your problem? How did that happen? Turn your head for a second. All right, I'm gonna chop an avocado in there because I think that vegan Caesar has to have avocado. It just has to. So some things happen, like I'm making this, trying to make a traditional, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. If I die, my mom, you guys follow my mom on Facebook? Does anybody? She's kind of the best. You guys should have her here next year. She's so good. All she does is make veg news recipes. Issa, have you tried the veg news newsletter? That's all she does. I'm like, thanks for the support, Mom. No, she's like, so did you guys pre-order my book? Well, oh, thank you guys. Did you get the bag? Did you get the tote bag? Awesome. So my mom is very attuned. Okay, well, there it is. There's the tote bag. My mom is very tuned into people complaining to me. So people that complained about the tote bag, even though they could still get it, like people didn't want to read how to get the tote bag. But some of them were in Europe and couldn't get it, which wasn't my fault. So I had like 1 million sad faces on my Facebook, instead of people being like, cool, thanks for the free tote bag. I can't get it in Scandinavia. No Scandinavians are here, so I can say this. Oh, it's being taped. So, I mean, I just love Scandinavian countries. You know, like lots of preserving, pickling, and okay, so then my mom went and sent people the tote bag, like paid out of her own pension. Isn't that sweet? That's what happens when you complain on my Facebook. My mom sends you stuff. And everywhere we go, like if we get on the bus, she's like, do you know who this is? So I'm gonna go ahead and put this all together. Oh, what I was trying to say is, so we have this, I'm trying to like do a vegan translation of a Caesar salad, but at the same time, I feel like there's a very traditional vegan Caesar salad, and it always has avocado. So one of the first vegan recipes I ever made was vegan Caesar with tahini and lemon and avocado. So to me, it's not a Caesar if there's not avocado in it. So it's nice that there's beginning to be like a true vegan cuisine. I mean, it feels like you need to exist for hundreds of years before you can be called a cuisine, but I feel like there are, you know, things are developing, and it's really cool that we have a few traditions, such as avocado and salads, and I'm trying to think of something that's not insulting, and I can't. That's how my brain works, and then I'm just quiet for 5 minutes. And now put some tempeh croutons on. Oh, so what I was saying was, I think, you know, in a few years, like every year, veganism or vegan cuisine ends up on like one of those trend forecasts. Like every single year, 2014 is the year of vegan cuisine. So I think one day they'll be right. I mean, in Portland, they're right already. So I really want to open a restaurant in Omaha because there's obviously not very much vegan food. And I figure everybody's like, why don't you do it in Portland? Like, but I'm not looking for negative Yelp reviews. I more just want to like be in the middle of the country, you know, people driving through on I-80, get some awesome vegan food, just introduce Omaha to awesome vegan food. You know, to be right there in the shadow of Omaha Steaks, to me feels very, very vegan. So it feels more effective to me. Like I went vegan in the 80s, and it was strife and struggle, and I just need that. So I love Omaha. Why is this being taped? Why am I talking? So I'm going to let me taste it, because Tom Colicco is yelling at me in my mind. I'm going to use a new spoon, totally sanitary, and I'll show you guys how to taste. You go like this. There you go. It tastes all right. I mean, it's pretty good. It needs salt, but you'll live. Do you guys want big samples? We could put a little bit of salt on, actually. No? No? Oh, what's going on? There's a salt-free person here. I feel it. I feel their presence. They just left me a negative Amazon review. Actually, I'm really surprised. I know I'm going to jinx myself, but last I looked, I had 36 5-star Amazon reviews for Issa Does It, which never happens. All right, so I think I'm pretty much done with the demo portion of this. I was going to demo the cookies, but I think there's too much of a mess. So I hope everybody got a cookie and enjoyed them. Those are from the book also. And these actually, both of these recipes I made for our video series. Did you guys watch the videos? Yeah. Oh, cool, thank you. You're the 10 people who watched. I really appreciate it. Oh, also clean as you go. That's really important. I'm cleaning and doing a demo. Just what can't I do? What was I talking about? Oh, both of these are in a video series called Make It Vegan. You can watch me make them again. Live the fun again. But I'll take like some Q&As if anybody has any cooking questions or I'm not picking you. Your hand went up first. If you have like cooking questions or any questions about anything, love advice. I really like giving relationship advice. Style questions. Anything. You, sir. Okay, so the question is when you're making baked goods a little bit healthier, what do you what amounts of flour do you substitute? I like to do, if I'm gonna do a healthy cookie, I'm probably just gonna make it healthy straight up instead of being like, I'll use half white and half whole wheat. I'll probably just use all oat flour or something like that, or use just all whole wheat pastry flour. So I wouldn't substitute with regular whole wheat flour, I'd substitute with whole wheat pastry, or just go all the way and do the oat flour. Another thing I do to make things a little bit healthier is a little applesauce instead of some of the oil. I definitely have learned to use a lot less sugar. I don't know if you noticed the recipes in Issa Does It have a lot less sugar than the recipes in Vegan with a Vengeance. I was like, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of flour, sounds about right. And I just started trying to develop them with a little bit less sugar in general, just because I'm 40. So, did I answer your question? Oh, okay, good. Okay, you in the cheap seats.
I really liked you doing the robot. Have you improved?
Yes. Oh, have I improved at doing the robot? I will. No. I'll show you. I need some music. Can I have some music that can do the robot too? This is going to be the worst thing that ever happened. Why am I doing this? Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the videos, like I'm doing the robot and dancing. Those were not supposed to be in the video. They're like, okay, we have a 5-minute break. So I'm like, okay. And they put them in the videos. I don't really need music. I'm good. I just did it. Do you think that was a pretty good robot? I think the thing with the robot is, let me tell you about the robot. You just need to keep your top half not, keep your bottom half immobile, and then you're good. So you guys got that? Do you want to practice with me? And then just as long as the bottom half, sorry. I don't like you. All right. So that's how you do the robot. Yes. Do you need to rinse your quinoa? Okay, can I talk to you about this? Let's talk girl to girl. I do rinse my quinoa and I rinse my rice too, but I know what you're saying because it gets everywhere, right? Okay, I'm gonna let you in on my secret. I don't mind wasting like a 1/4 cup of quinoa when I'm rinsing it. So what I do is I just, in your big gigantic bowl or your big gigantic pot, put a ton of water in it, go like this, swish it around, the quinoa will settle to the bottom. It gets better. The quinoa will settle to the bottom and then you can kind of like just tilt it. Some of the quinoa is going to come out, but it doesn't matter. Just keep going. You know, it's not really going to be a 1/4 cup. A little bit's going to come out, but it's okay because obviously when you rinse in your colander, it's like falling through. It's getting stuck in there. You have to throw the colander out. It's just not worth it. So I do that, and then another secret is then I just put it in the pot and I put as much water as I want. I don't actually measure the water. I use about 1 inch above. And quinoa is the best. It's not like rice where it's really finicky. Just bring it to a boil, put it on as low as possible, and then it's gonna get done no matter what. So that's those are quinoa secrets. Yes?
What's the focus for your new restaurant?
The focus of my new restaurant is, actually, it's a really tiny restaurant. It's smaller, it's half the size of this room, and it's cozy comfort food. It's attached to a bar. I don't know if you guys know like the Omaha music scene at all from the 90s. So the band Cursive has the bar next door, and it's a music venue too. So I just feel like I'm going to be supplying them with some bar food also. So I'm going to be doing tacos and po' boys. I actually have a really southern menu, which is weird because I spent very little time here. I love the food, so there's going to be mac and cheese, but a little bit swanky. So the mac and cheese isn't going to be, oh, it's just mac and cheese. It's going to have like breaded tofu and greens and sauces and roasted Brussels sprouts and all that, and a ton of stuff. So I guess to answer your question, the focus of my restaurant is comfort food. And I just kind of want it to be small, and because it is small, cozy and intimate, and just feed people like the best food they've ever had. I'm not going to worry about, like, a lot of the places were like, you're not going to get the lunch crowd. Like, I don't want to sell $6 sandwiches to students, no offense to you guys. But like, that is like a lifestyle. I'm just not, I want to be relaxed in the kitchen and just feel like everybody's having an experience. So that's the idea behind the restaurant.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Yes?
The Food Channel has been on for 20 years.
How come there's not a vegan show on the Food Network? I think because veganism is like an implied insult to everybody. So I don't think they're going to do that because, first of all, advertisers. You know, second of all, you have like, there's always ethical implications, and I just think they're not feeling it. I think there will be eventually. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon, and it really is going to have to be. I don't think I'm going to do it, but because they haven't asked me, not because I have some sort of ethical standards. No, I just think like as soon as it's a big moneymaker, they'll do it. As soon as there's enough advertising, they'll do it. But I don't think we're quite there yet, but who knows? Any other questions? Yes. Yeah. Oh, the question is about lemon bars. I have a great lemon bar recipe in Veganomicon, so just use that. The great thing is, like, we don't, like, when I first started doing this, everything was about, you know, I mean, I had a big thing on my website, how to sub this, how to sub that, and now there's usually a recipe for something that's gonna work. So the recipe I use is, there's a little agar-agar in it, which is a seaweed, which is a vegan gelatin, essentially. It's completely tasteless, not tasteless, it has no flavor. And, yeah, it sets it up great. And it was a veganized from, do you make the, what is it called, Cook's Illustrated recipe for lemon bars? I find most people use that recipe. Well, it's a veganized version of that, so I would just use that. It's, with things like egg yolks and egg whites, I always find it's really hard to give someone an exact formula. You have to like do a little experimenting. But luckily, just Google Veganomicon lemon bars. You don't even have to buy it, you'll find it. And it's awesome. I mean, not to be conceited. Any other questions? What's going on over there? Oh, samples. I was just wondering. I thought maybe Terry came in or something. Yes, another question. Oh, for chia? I actually never used chia as an egg substitute, and I don't know what chia bran is. I'm not afraid to admit that. Yeah, I don't know. I could make something up. I could Google it. I have more time? Should I like end this, or you guys, I'm gonna sign books and stuff. So maybe we should sign books, unless anybody has any questions. Oh, you all the way back there. Oh, convert you to use cast iron. Okay, I will. I can do this. First of all, it's naturally non-stick. It gives food char, and it's going to make your food taste better. I mean, that should convert you right there. Thirdly, it lasts your entire life. For women, it's great because it adds iron to your food, actually, which is insane. What else, like, you know, most of your cookware is gonna kill you. Cast iron will only kill you if someone hits you over the head with it. So that's pretty awesome. Did it work? It's not, yes, you can use it as a weapon. What's that? Oh, you do clean it though. Clean it. But I actually, you missed my first 5 minutes, which was basically about cast iron. So I clean mine, I wash it, I don't care, I just clean it, and then I put oil on it. Mine is so well seasoned already, I can use soap on it, I could just dry it off and it's fine, it doesn't get rusty. If it does get rusty, they're sick of me talking about it, but I'm gonna tell you. You just coat a little oil, pop it in the oven when you have something else in there, and bake it again for an hour, and then the rust is gone, and life is good. And, you know, just the fact that it makes your food taste better, I'd say, is the reason to use cast iron. Cast iron by Isa. No, I don't know. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Oh wait, can I take one more question? One more. Is it about my hair? Thank you. Style? Okay.
I just went to a Mexican store and got the
What's your cookbook called? I'm just kidding.
blog I'm starting called Pimp My Produce.
Okay. So do you,
But anyway, it's I went to like a Mexican store and got a cheap nylon strainer that's super, super fine.
yeah,
So then I don't lose that quarter.
right. Okay, so you can get a nylon strainer.
Helps me sleep.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. This was so fun. Happy to sign books. And I'll be walking around if you wanna ask me style. Nobody takes me up on the style questions, but